This is the Mushroom Murder Trial podcast. My name is Lisa and welcome to my show. And what a day. It certainly was today because after a mammoth 10 weeks, a jury in Victoria returned guilty verdicts against the woman now known as the Mushroom Killer. Erin Patterson, age 50, of Leongatha, was found guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder after a 2023 lunch at her home. The mum of 2 had also faced charges of repeatedly attempting to murder her estranged husband, Simon Patterson, but the allegations were discontinued at the start of this murder trial. Miss Patterson, now found guilty of intentionally poisoning her lunch guests, served them a Beef Wellington meal that contained death cap mushrooms at her Gippsland home in July 2023. Her former in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and Gail's sister Heather, all died. Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson, spent 2 months in hospital recovering. He gave evidence at the trial and spent most days at the Latrobe Law Courts listening to their testimony. During the Supreme Court trial at Morwell, the jury heard from a range of forensic experts, medical people who treated those who became ill, as well as relatives of the deceased. As today's verdict reverberated across the courtroom, I was told Patterson did not react, staring intently at the jury as it read out its final conclusions on the 4 charges. After 6 days of deliberations, the jury of 7 men and 5 women returned guilty verdicts in a long trial with many exhibits. During the 10 weeks of hearings and deliberation, the jury heard Patterson was aggressive towards her in-laws after the separation from her estranged husband, Simon, turned nasty in late 2022. During the Supreme Court trial, the jury heard from experts and medical specialists who treated those who became ill. As well, relatives of the deceased testified, including Simon Patterson and other members of the Patterson and Wilkinson families. Outside the court, more than 200 people milled as a massive media scrum moved in on lawyers, police and friends of those involved. Patterson's close friend, Alison Rose Pryor, negotiated her way through the media and spoke briefly to say she would visit Miss Patterson in the future. Okay, so I suppose now I can say I know Erin and I know Ali Rose Pryor from that Facebook group. There you go. I'm not sure how much more I can say until she's sentenced. We shall see. Now, 7 News reporter Estelle Greerpink provided some insight today into what was expected to happen to Miss Patterson now she's been found guilty. She said, quote, "Because she's been found guilty, she's been taken from her custody box in the court through what we believe is a lift into a tunnel that connects to the police station. She'll be put in that prison van and she'll travel to Dame Phyllis Frost. That's a maximum security women's prison in Melbourne. They're my words, not hers. And there we are, unlikely to see her again until about August. That's when her next court hearing has been scheduled. Now, she will presumably stay in Dame Phyllis Frost until the sentencing, and the former air traffic controller now faces up to life in prison. She will return to the court for a pre-sentence hearing later this year, but the Dame Phyllis Frost facility has housed some of Australia's most infamous female offenders, including teen killer Carolyn Reed Robertson, gangland widow Roberta Williams, and German drug smuggler Andrea Moore. Other high-profile inmates Patterson will be bunking down with may include the Black Widow, Robin Lindholm, Melbourne underworld queen Judy Moran, and serial con artist Samantha Azzopardi. Since 2023, Patterson has been placed in a protected unit for her own safety. Now, this reminds me of something. I just saw the most incredible thing on the Herald Sun, and I'm going to share it with you. So it's a story by Brooke Craig and Anthony Dowsley. And it says, hold on to your seat, get ready. Erin Patterson accused by another inmate of tampering with prison food. Now, this came out today, the 7th of July, and it says, triple murderer Erin Patterson was accused of tampering with prison food that made another inmate sick while waiting for her high-profile trial to begin. The allegation was made by a fellow inmate who was held in the same unit as Patterson at a maximum security prison, Dame Phyllis Frost Centre in Melbourne. Patterson was thrown behind bars in November 2023 and was charged with murdering her estranged husband's family. So we know those bits. Sources said the mushroom cook had fallen out with other inmates last year before at least one prisoner fell sick when they ate a meal that was prepared in the unit. Oh my God. The mother of two was then transferred into a hard lockdown area known as the slot, while officers probed the claim. In the slot, inmates are placed in solitary confinement for more than 22 hours a day with little human contact. It's understood the complaint about Patterson was investigated, but no known further action was taken. Patterson's camp said the allegation was baseless. The Herald Sun was prevented from reporting the alleged incident when she was awaiting her trial. Interesting, isn't it? But she denies it. The article goes on to say another source said Patterson had acted completely entitled while she was on remand at Dame Phyllis Frost Centre. Quote, all the girls have issues with each other in there, this person said. The unit Erin was housed in was almost like a melting pot of tension as they are confined to the middle of the jail and have to be escorted anywhere they go. Interesting. So, thank you so much for listening today. I'm going to be doing many podcasts, so this is just episode 1 of season 2, but I'll be putting information on my website, mushroommurdertrial.com, and please subscribe to this podcast, the Mushroom Murder Trial Podcast, on your preferred platform so you never miss an episode. And also, if you could, I would really appreciate it if you could review it. My social media details are also in the show notes if you want to connect with me there. And if you feel like rewarding me for the thousands of hours I've spent on this work, I have a Buy Me a Coffee membership, and that's linked below as well. But I have a whole lot of material that I pre-recorded before the trial, and now we're at a point where I can release some of it, so get ready. And what an interesting day what today was. I thought it might be today just because maybe they wanted to go back in the jury room and just go over everything one last time. But certainly we owe our thanks to the jurors doing their bit for Australia and the legal system. So have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall speak to you very, very soon. Bye. Thank you.